Hey there everyone, so our problem for today is twosome, wherein the input array is sorted. So this is actually different from the usual twosome problem wherein the array can be in any order. So as you can see here, the problem states that given an array of integers that is sorted in ascending order, find two numbers. So we need to find a pair that adds up to a given target number. So the result will be the indices of the two numbers. So we are not returning the numbers, the actual value, but we are returning the indices. So here, one thing that we need to take note of is that we cannot use the same element twice. So say our target is 10 and we are given this array 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9. We cannot use 5 twice. Okay? So here in our example, right? So our target is 11. By just looking at it, we can identify that the result is 5 and 6. So in the first index is at index 2 and index 3. So this is 2 and 3. That's why the output is this 2 and 3. Okay, so to approach this problem, one thing that we can do, the first thing that we can do is identify the brute force solution. So we can state this to our interviewer that we can do a brute force solution by going through the first index and compare it to all the other numbers, and the second index and compare it to the rest. However, this would result to an O of n time complexity. So how can we improve this? Since we are looking at an array that is already sorted, we can actually have two cursors, one at the very beginning of the array and another one at the end of the array. So since we have two cursors, what we're doing to do to these two values is that we are going to sum them up. So say 1 and 9, the sum is 10, right? However, it is less than the target, so what we're going to do next is move the left cursor. So whenever that we see that the value is less than the target, we move the left cursor to the right. So we move it here. Now, we add it up again. 3 plus 9 is 12. What we can see here, it is already greater than 11. Okay? So since it's greater than 11, we move the right cursor to the left. Okay? Now let's add it up again. 3 plus 7. 3 and 7, the sum is 10, which is again less than the target. So we move the cursor, this cursor, at the left to the right. And we sum this up again. 5 plus 7, it is now 12. So it's greater than the target. So we move the right cursor to the left. Okay. And lastly, we see 5 and 6. Which has a sum of 11, which is also equal to our target. So return these two indices. So how are we going to implement this problem? Okay, let's make some space here. Alright. Okay, so let's identify the inputs. We have two inputs. We have the array and also the target number. So we have these two inputs. Public int. So we're expected to have an integer array output. So if you're going to see here, public int twosome. And then we have two inputs, as you can remember. Let's say A and also int target. Alright. As we mentioned in our example earlier, we will have two cursors, one at the left and one at the right. So let's define them. Oops, sorry. Left is equal to 0, and then right will be equal to a.length minus 1. Now, as long as left is less than right, we'll do a loop. Left is less than right. Okay, so as you can see here, you may ask, why is it not less than or equal? Because as mentioned earlier, we cannot use the same element twice. So if we do less than or equal, left and right can be in the same indices, they can point to the same thing, and then it will already be incorrect. So now let's compute for the sum at the current indices. So sum is equal to a left plus a right. Okay, so the remaining thing that we need to do is just check the sum. If the sum is less than target, then we move the left to the right. Okay, else if sum is greater than the target, then we move the right to the left. Alright, and finally else, so this time it will be equal. So we gonna return the value of the indices, new int left and right. Okay, so actually this will fail during compilation because we still need to add a handling. What if we weren't able to find two numbers that would result to the target? So in our case, we will just return two negative ones, and then you can just ask your interviewer whether it is fine for him to return this value or does he want something else. And maybe some other things that you may add here are validations, such as if the array is empty or it's null, or the length of the array is just 1. So he can add it before here and then ask your interviewer what result does he want for this. So I guess aside from that, we are already able to handle every scenarios. One variation to this problem is that it may say the index starts at 1. So in that case, you just need to add +1 here and +1 here. And basically that's it. If you have any questions, just comment down below. Subscribe and like this video if you want more. Thanks, bye.